Okay. I think in the last couple of days we talked about modularization of our code. And therefore, I want to present here the modular pattern for JavaScript.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's about modular. I just write it here.
Mm-hmm.
Pattern of JavaScript. So it basically means to organize your code in a certain way and to hide certain parts from outer parts of the code. And yeah, I think it's best to make a bad example first with how the code looks like without modular. And then I show you how the modular pattern can be applied to that bad example.
Mm-hmm.
So make it a good example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say we have a patient object. Let's call it patient 0. And where's the
Alt.
curly?
Alt. Also not.
Why is
Sorry.
not displayed here?
Yeah, that sucks about the Mac really. And the problem is my keyboard. Sorry?
Oh, this one is?
No.
No.
I think it's Alt. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
8 round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's say he's got some sensitive information like patient ID. And
Age, gender.
let's say medication.
Yeah.
Okay, now where's the
Brackets.
rectangular bracket?
It's around the 5, somewhere around the 5. Yep.
Okay, these would be our private information.
What's your intent to demonstrate with the underscore?
The underscore, usually it's convention to say private variables should have an underscore as a prefix.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, get.
You do it always inside of JSON objects, or in general when you develop.
Yeah, in general, but yeah, in general, mainly for JavaScript. But
I think in general we use underscore for private variables, even in other languages.
Yeah, but I think that's what I want to. In other languages, you have other construct like private and public, but you don't have these constructs here in JavaScript.
Yeah, so you try to make it visible by a naming convention.
Okay, then we also got functions. What's again? 8.
Oh.
And then it should return you the patient ID. And then we have getter. Then we want to have also send medication function, then medication, then medications. Okay, I think this should work fine. Let's initialize the patient. Yeah. Okay, let's say we've got patient. Then this is patient.
Patient 0.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think I forgot one function. Because in this case, the patient ID is always 0, and we want to make it more dynamic. Let's say create patient, and then function 8. Then the patient ID should be incremented by 1. Okay, I just initialized the patient. Now I want to use this as my cons.
Create patient.
Not just create. Okay, then I would
Copy.
patient ID is not defined. Yeah. Oh. Okay, now, how do I switch it back?
Control.
Control this? No. Yes. Okay, as you can see, we create a patient, and yeah, it seems to work. Now we have to do something with this information. Let's set it. Send the patient a medication. Then print it out again. Oh, come on.
Medications is not defined as a dis.medication.
Okay, yeah.
Then it must be also here.
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
Okay, it seems to work.
Now also the ID is correct.
Yeah, it seems to work because we sent the patient medication, and that's we can access this medications array directly, and yeah, as you can see, it prints out this aspirin, and that's the issue, because ID and aspirin are something that's private and should not be accessible by outside code.
I see. Yeah.
So that's the issue with JavaScript. Everything is publicly available.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is protecting these information.
Sure.
And
how do we do it?
That's when the modular pattern comes in. So yeah, before we start, I think it's good to know what of basic concept it consists of, because the modular pattern is built by three concepts. It uses the three concepts in conjunction. First, it's the object literal. Okay, the object literal. Then the iffy. It's the immediately invoked function expression, also called iffy, and closures. Okay, how does the object literal look like? It looks like this. You got like my object, and then you've got this. This is an object literal.
Okay.
Then the immediately invoked function, it's var my iffy, and function, and then immediately invoked means you do
this
this
is
and
executed.
then
Okay.
okay, then closures. You got it looks like this. It's also a function, and difference is you return something, you return an object back. This is the closure. So the cool thing about the closure is whatever is here is private. Whatever is here is public.
True that.
Okay, and the modal pattern uses all three of these concepts together. And would look like this. I would create a new patient object. Let's call it patient 1. Then I would use all the three
patterns
that I just mentioned together. Okay, then it would look like this. Then like this. So this is first the iffy, and then it will combine it with the closure. Then we would take our old object here. Okay, okay, before it was in an object, now it's in a function, so the syntax has to look a little bit differently. Alright. So we are making minor changes to the stuff that we already wrote.
So okay, we have
So we would write them here, where it's considered private, and whatever we want to expose to the outer world, we would write here in the return object literal. Okay, this would be our get. Get patient. We get our function. And since we aren't in an object anymore, we don't need this. Send medication as well. Then great. Okay, then we basically have the same functionality as before. The difference is hopefully these stuff here, not this stuff, but this private information should not be accessible outside.
And they're not accessible because it's inside of a function call.
Yeah. So let's see whether
This is true or not?
I just copy this and then make small modifications and then see whether we really can't access stuff anymore.
My patient 1, I think. Oh no, okay, patient 1.
So in case they ask me,
Yeah. Okay. I will remove this. I think it's better to remove it
What about
so we don't get confused.
This stuff also?
No.
This is patient 0. Okay.
Yeah, but we don't
Okay,
initialize it. We don't use it. So.
And this is my patient 1, and this is my patient 1. You declared it twice. I think now this declaration can go. Or like this, yeah.
Okay, let's see whether we can find it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, slight syntax error.
I'm so sorry. I got interrupted.
It's okay.
Nine.
Push of undefined. So let's have a look where the push is called.
Yeah, of course.
Now it's not this anymore.
Okay, let's hope. Yeah.
And we find that it's undefined because we cannot access it. Yet we will be able to access it now via the call of the function. Maybe you can demonstrate that.
Unexpected. Wait a minute. Okay, let's clear this up. Select this. Yeah. Let's retrieve this information by, let's say, having a get patient ID, because okay, let's retrieve the patient ID. Patient ID, and it should not work.
It needs the call of the function.
Exactly, it's undefined because it can't access it. Let's get patient ID
with the brackets.
Yeah. Then should then have one.
The ID.
Yeah, and you see the object. Yeah, we've got the functions, but we don't have the attributes, and which is good.
Yeah, that's good. So what do you see is the benefit or the disadvantages?
So that's a good point. The advantages. Let's start with advantages. The advantages are well, the code is now cleaner. It's separated. We now can separate between public and private.
Information hiding.
So outside code is agnostic about code that's inside. For example, what medication is, whatever it's implemented, whatever it's behind the hood, it doesn't care, it doesn't matter, as long as these interfaces are correct,
Available.
yeah, it's fine. So first of all, it's encapsulation. So you can create a public and private private properties, and code is more clean and organized.
Okay.
And it's modular. It's I think a good keyword here is loose coupling.
That's true. It comes together. Yeah. What about the disadvantages then?
Exactly. Disadvantages. There are minor, not minor, but there's one disadvantage, but that's kind of a big disadvantage because it's more difficult now to do unit testing on private properties or private functions because we can't exit them from the outside. I mean, that's the whole point of having private attributes, but now we can't exit them.
Yeah.
So it's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But then again, the functions themselves, they are available and they are public and they can be tested.
Yeah.
Properties themselves don't need to be tested.
Yeah. Yeah.
Private methods, that's true.
Private
functions for testing.
Methods, properties can't be accessed and thus difficult to unit test them.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And advantage could be unit testing could be done on public functions.
Only.
Yeah.
This is pretty standard. Yeah.
Okay.
You can only do it on public.
So this is the basic modular pattern, but as you can see, private and public attributes are accessed differently. So there's also another pattern, like a small modification of the modular pattern. It's called the revealing modular pattern. So what you actually do is to remove all of the functions and all of the attributes inside of the private area. So even public ones. And then only write the pointer of these functions here. So yeah, let me show it. Like this, then this.
So okay, you only have the pointer to the functions, and no logic is in the returned object.
And the advantage that I have now is whenever I want to make send medication private, which doesn't make much sense right now, but
possibly, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense, but I can just comment out on just delete this line, because otherwise I would have to rewrite everything. I would have to move this up Because with the old concept, I move this up, then I have to rewrite the code a lot.
So if internally there is some dependency to this function, it can stay, while just the exposure of it can be removed.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty cute, pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
But this would also have disadvantages, because with JavaScript you can dynamically add functions afterwards, after they are defined. And if you do this, then functions that are added afterwards can't access private properties.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, if you have any comments, leave them below. And don't forget to share and like. Yeah, it's the first time on the Mac, I think. Yeah, okay.